So the Netflix series Madoff, The Monster of Wall Street, is kind of a big thing. And you know what? It all started with a book called Madoff Talks, and that all started with an interview that one Jim Campbell made. And Jim Campbell happens to be with you every afternoon at 1 o'clock here on WADK, and he joins us on the line. Jim Campbell, how are you?
And I love the whole Newport folks that think they're listening every day. And I got to tell you, I watched a documentary recently about the America's Cup in Newport, the year that Australia upset the U.S., which is decades ago, and in it is a scene from WADK Studios.
This is the second reference of this that we've had this morning, Jim.
Wow. Well, I'm redundant then.
Not at all. It's but that's the league that we are privileged to play in because
yes.
we I told the whole story on the air about how we had monumental coverage of that America's Cup race and the few before it back in the 70s and things, and we had renowned commentators, yachting commentators from Australia who came and did the play-by-play, and we set up the media boat, and we were sending reports all around the world, and it was an amazing thing. So we stand on the shoulders of giants here, and quite frankly, you're one of them, because here you are, you've been toiling mightily every day at 1 o'clock for years and years here on WADK, come out with this book, Madoff Talks, the only behind bars interview. It gets made into a Netflix series, and Hollywood, here we go. So you are one of those giants, my friend.
It is really cool. We last week hit number 2 among TV series in USA Today.
Wow. How many viewers does that translate into? Do you have any idea?
I do not know that, but the director, Joe Berlinger, who's a legendary guy, says that within the first month, 150 million people will see it around the world.
Wow. It's mind-boggling.
This is mind-boggling numbers. You can't even fathom it.
No, it's amazing. It's a docu-series. It follows the rise and fall of Bernie Madoff, who orchestrated one of the biggest Ponzi schemes in Wall Street history. We know that much. What is meant by a docu-series? Is that the same as a docudrama?
What it means really is that it's just a multi-episode documentary. It's 4 episodes, about an hour each, and that's why they call it a series as opposed to just a documentary.
Gotcha. But it's all documentary footage. In other words, it's not recreated by actors or it's not scripted.
It's a combination of pure unscripted documentary, which you know exactly what that is. But he has done an innovation of recreations with actors of moments of the whole story, often that run behind while they're doing the interview, while the guy's talking, like when I'm talking, and you might see stuff going on. There's a fake Madoff and stuff like that. It's a very cool thing. The other thing he did very creatively is he recreated the 17th and the 19th floors. For those that don't know, the 19th floor was a completely legitimate business worth $3 billion at peak. And on the 17th, behind a locked door, was this hidden biggest criminal enterprise in Wall Street history. It reflects the two sides of Madoff's brain, if you will. Wow. And he's recreated both sets. And I was filmed on both of them. So it's really neat. So
I mean, this Madoff started with penny stocks, right?
Yes, that's true.
Where did he find that he could really cash in? Where did things go and end up the way that led to this huge scheme? Yeah,
a lot of people don't realize he's one of the architects of the NASDAQ system. He saw it as off of the exchange, pricing hidden, no transparency, and different exchanges around the country. He helped unite that through basically computers, so that all the pricing could be on one screen instead of you used to have to call separate market makers on the phone. You didn't really know what the honest prices were, and he ended up taking number 3 market share from the New York Stock Exchange, all 100% legitimate.
Just him?
Yeah, his firm that he built from scratch.
Unbelievable.
He took it. He built this himself. A guy with moderate means out of Queens. And then at the same time, down on those floors below, he's building this, ended up $65 billion completely fake Ponzi scheme.
Unbelievable. So
same guy, same Same brain.
So he was making two fortunes.
He was making two fortunes, and one literally more ethical than the average Wall Street firm, and then one a huge criminal enterprise. You tell me how a guy does that. People think that, oh, he must have had a big loss, and then he made the mistake of doubling down like a gambler, and he'll do a little Ponzi, he'll get it back, and no one will ever notice, which is what he told me. The trouble is, it's not true. He built them at the same time.
No way. So he told you that he had Ponzi schemed his way out of it, and it was a total lie.
Yes. Yeah, that was the story. That, I'm running this great business, and Jim, I had a big loss, and I was going to do a Ponzi just briefly, and no one would ever know. But that story's not true. He was actually building the criminal part at the same time from the beginning.
How did it all come crashing down?
2008, when the whole Wall Street and the mortgage crisis, absent that, he'd still be in business today.
No kidding. Is that right?
Most likely.
That is amazing. So if it hadn't been for the big crash in 2008, where everything just came to life, and it's like, well, wait a minute, what's all this stuff going on here?
Right, and everybody wanted their money out. $6 billion were taken out of his fund that year. He just ran out of gas. Once you have no cash coming in, it's over.
Right. Well, that's the whole idea. There was someone named Ponzi, correct? Is that how they...
Yep, and Ponzi just means there's no real investment activity, and you need more money coming in the front door than is going out through redemptions in the back door.
Right. Yes. So when we see, and I'm sure you must get asked now about comparisons between Bernie Madoff and this kid Bankman-Fried, who is running the crypto, or was running the crypto enterprise. But are they the same? Is this kid a Madoff Jr., as he's been called?
Yeah, where I start with is they both built reputations of really strong trust. Madoff, primarily a Jewish clientele, 85%, who thought he was safe. His nickname was the Jewish Treasury Bill. He was considered that safe. Wow. And the regulators loved him. At the same time, they did 5 separate investigations of him and never found the Ponzi scheme, completely incompetently missing it. Now look at SBF. SBF has spent $73 million cultivating donations to politicians, mainly Democrats. He has ex-regulators from the CFTC, which monitors crypto, not that anybody really monitors crypto, yes. And he has all kinds of politicians. They built the same kind of thing. And I don't see a lot of remorse. Like, I know Murdy didn't have any, because I spent 400 pages of communications. He would say, and this is true, Jim, my lawyers tell me I have to show remorse. And then within a minute, these guys were greedy. They were pressuring me, blah, 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 blaming the victims. SBF is basically my dog ate my homework. I didn't know this was all going on. And that doesn't work in 5th grade. And if you look underneath the hood, his affiliated company called Alameda was doing really bad fraud. And of course, he and Madoff both did what's one of the sacrilegious things on Wall Street, is they commingled customer money with their own firm money. And that, of course, is a real no-no. And that's what SBF did, to the tune of $8 billion he brought over.
Nevertheless, you can understand why people would put their trust in a Bernie Madoff. As you say, he certainly appears as though he's the nice boy, the accountant. He's all dressed up, suit and tie, and impeccably tailored, and so forth. And then you have this scruffy kid in a hoodie who looks like he's in the 5th grade. It's like, I'm going to give this guy millions of dollars, but he engendered trust, Bankman-Fried did, but it was among people who really were not anywhere near as sophisticated had any kind of real money.
And he bought him. He gave money to all these politicians.
Well,
he was on stages with Bill Clinton. He did a call-in with Andrew Ross Sorkin, who's in our documentary, and is the #1 New York Times business guy. He was doing interviews after this thing fell apart, like, hey, I'm still a great guy. I don't know how it happened.
Unbelievable. So, Madoff, the Monster of Wall Street, 4-part docuseries on Netflix. Have all 4 episodes been on?
All 4. You can binge watch them if you really want.
That's where I was going, Jim. So you can binge watch them, and you can see Jim Campbell. You can see how the story unfolds from start to finish, and it's an amazing thing. So what's next for Jim Campbell?
That's a good question. I have a couple books that have been kind of proposed, and actually another documentary, this on a murder story, but that's all in the stages where I can't talk about them, really.
I got you. You still going to hang in on the radio with us?
Oh, yeah. I love the radio. So that's where I come out of, So that's my that's my whole deal. By the way, as I say, and John Iannuzzi, my producer, will say this, none of this would have happened without the radio.
Well, you do it well. You're in with the best. J.J. Iannuzzi is number one. So, you know what? No surprise there. So, fantastic. Well, all kinds of congratulations, and we look forward.
Thank you, Bruce, very much. Always love talking with you.
Same here, and we appreciate having you on WADK every afternoon at 1 o'clock. We look forward to your great guests. You're going to have Belichick on again soon?
Oh, yeah. He has not had a great season.
He has not had a great season. He may be accessible, though. Although I guess I guess he's going to keep his job, I guess.
Yeah, but he's not preparing for the playoffs right now, so maybe
no,
you're right.
He may have some time on his hands, so go for him. Hey, Jim Campbell, great to talk to you, my friend. All the best, continued success, and thanks for the time today. We really appreciate it.
Great. Thanks, Bruce, and all your folks listening in Newport. Take care. Bye-bye.
You bet. Jim Campbell. He is the inspiration and the basis of the Netflix documentary Madoff, the Monster of Wall Street. Check it on out. And Jim will be on this afternoon at